Okay, in this video, we're going to go over how to find the surface area of a right cone. Now, as you can see here, I've tried to reconstruct a little right cone with paper and tape. And rather than just give you the formula, we're going to go ahead and analyze this as well and see how it's done, okay? So let me just go ahead and draw the image, a graphic rather, of a right cone and give you some definitions to look for, okay? So in this cone, what we've got here is a circular base, right, which is just simply a circle. And then from the top of the cone to the middle of the circle, you have a height, right? From the middle of the circle to the end of the circumference, you have a radius, designated as r, and along the side from the bottom to the tip in the middle of the cone, you have something called a slant height, and we'll just label that L. So going back to our little construct here, you can see that we have a circular base, we have a slant height right here, and then the height again would be from the middle, from the top here all the way down through the center to the middle of the circle, okay? Now, as you can see, if I just took off the base, bottom actually, I'm going to have a circle, aren't I? So that we know that the surface area of a cone is going to be comprised rather of the area of a circle, which we know to be pi r squared, right? Knowing that particular thing. Now, the area of what's called the lateral surface, right, which is the area around the cone, if you took a slit down the middle and opened it up, in this particular case, it's going to look like a half circle. So would it be okay to simply take the slant height, the L, which would be this distance right here, and use that as the radius of a full circle? Only in one particular case, right? Now, what would happen if our cone, for example, was a lot higher? Well, as it turns out, when we slit a cone like that open, you don't get a half circle. So in this particular case, it was a little misleading. So that part I'm going to have to give you the information for. So here's how we're going to have to do, and I'm just going to put plus the lateral surface of our cone, okay? So again, how are we going to do that? Well, the area for the lateral surface is actually pi times the radius times the slant height. Okay? So if we were to add these two together, we would get the surface area of a cone, and it would be pi r squared plus pi r L. Now, if we were to take out the common factors in each one of these two terms, you see that pi is common, you see that 1r is common, and I would be left with r plus L. Now, here's something I want you to notice. How would you find out this L if it wasn't given to you? You'll notice that this is a right triangle, isn't it? You could use the Pythagorean Theorem by saying L squared, or R squared plus H squared would equal L squared. So R squared, radius squared, plus H, the height squared, which is a lot of times what they'll give you for information, will be equal to L squared. Okay, and then if you took the square root of both sides, you would get L is equal to the square root of R squared plus h squared, and you could simply substitute that into here, or that into here, however you want. Okay? So I hope that was helpful. It'll give you a way of analyzing depending on what kind of information you get.